I said I want to see you.
Hi, good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to staff colleagues, whether or not you are in the audience today or watching the simulcast. My name is Greg Naranjo, and I've been working on a special project on Cambodia. That's a joint project with the Levine Institute and the Scott Center for Prevention of Genocide for the past 2 years with a team of folks. And we're very honored today to have with us a group of people to talk about the survivors' experience of the Cambodian genocide and mass atrocities that were committed between 1975 and 1979. We're taking the occasion of this 40th year anniversary of the Khmer Rouge taking over Phnom Penh to look at that mass atrocity that the museum has not really fully addressed before. And also because there's a sitting court in Cambodia that's a combined Cambodian and international court that this many years later, from 1979, is finally taking the moment and trying to hold accountable the perpetrators of those crimes in Cambodia. It has been a lot of work and a great honor to try and figure this out. The two groups are very concerned and want to make certain that people know that genocide did not end with the Holocaust, that from 1975 to 1979, the Khmer Rouge, their policies and their leaders were responsible for the deaths of nearly 2 million Cambodians, roughly a quarter of the population at that time. We as a whole believe that perpetrators of genocide and mass atrocities must be held accountable, no matter how long and how difficult, and that survivors of genocide and mass atrocities must have a voice in the processes to heal, whether those are justice voices within courts or in the many ways beyond courts. I'm very honored to have here today, in addition to Arn Munzer, Arn Chorn Pond. He founded the Cambodia Living Arts group 15 years ago, and they are the embodiment of the desire of survivors to seek a greater sense of peace through other activities, specifically the rebirth of culture that is very much present in Cambodia today. We're also honored to have with us some other colleagues from Cambodia Living Arts, Pleon Prin and Charlie Todd, who are able to join us. And I briefly want to call out and mention specifically Sonia Booth, who put together this program, and Belinda Blomberg, who's been my partner in crime over the past 2 years trying to bring this together. I invite you to come see the two Meyerhoff well, Cambodia 1975-1979. That is about the crimes of the Khmer Rouge. And upstairs on May 9th, there will be another display in room 2 of the Wexner, right after the second room, the one after From Memory to Action. That exhibition is called I Want Justice, and it not only starts with Nuremberg, but it moves up to the court in Cambodia today, and the way that Cambodian survivors have a role in that court, and more importantly, that they must seek a greater sense of peace beyond what could be achieved through court justice. Al Munzer will be interviewing Arn. They met, I think, a little less than a year ago when they both started talking about their stories in Scotland. Al Munzer, as you may know, it was born in 1941 in The Hague in the Netherlands. An Indonesian Dutch family rescued him as a child. He has worked very closely with the museum on a variety of our projects, from translation to his story being featured in the
Life in Shadows.
Life in Shadows exhibition. Thank you, Al. And he is also now currently working on the Jewish Responses to Persecution project. in addition to also giving tours to some were neighbors. So with that, Al and Arn will take the stage, and I think you'll find this very entertaining and interesting.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this conversation with Arn Chorn Pond. I first met Arn about a year and a half ago, as you heard, when we were both invited to speak at a Holocaust remembrance event in Scotland. I, as a child survivor of the Holocaust, rescued by an Indonesian family living in the Netherlands, and he, as a survivor of the Khmer Rouge Cambodian genocide. Arn had met and heard the stories of many Holocaust survivors, but I had never met a survivor of the Khmer Rouge and realized that I knew very, very little, far too little, about Cambodia and about that country's very sad story. Perhaps because my adoptive parents during the Holocaust, to whom I'm still related in a way, and Arn's family came from the same part of the world and looked like him, Arn and I formed a very strong bond, literally like brothers. Arn was born in Cambodia in 1966 in Battambang to a family of performers and musicians. When the Khmer Rouge came to power in 1975, Arn and hundreds of other children were sent to a Buddhist temple converted into a prison camp. A place that he took me to and that still haunts him to this day, and where he survived by playing the flute and keeping the soldiers entertained. When the Vietnamese invaded in Cambodia in 1978, Arn was handed a gun and forced to fight. Eventually, he escaped into the jungle, and months later he crossed into Thailand and was taken to a refugee camp. There, he met the Reverend Peter Pond, who adopted him together with 15 other refugee children and brought him to New Hampshire. Arn attended Brown University and earned a bachelor's degree from Providence College. And while in college, Arn founded Peacemakers, the US-based gang intervention program for Southeast Asian youth. In 1993, he returned to Cambodia and founded the Cambodian Volunteers Community Development, gathering 2,000 volunteers to clean streets and replant forests that had been damaged by war. In 1998, he founded Cambodian Living Arts, an organization devoted to restoring the artistic heritage that had been destroyed by the Khmer Rouge. Rediscovering old masters that had survived genocide, and even recreating old instruments that date back to the Angkor Empire, and teaching young children how to play the traditional Khmer instruments. And then there is his most recent venture, the Khmer Magic Music Bus, carpeting Cambodia with music, not bombs. Arn is in good company among the people that he was honored with was Elie Wiesel. Another picture of is Elie Wiesel, one of the founders, of course, of this museum. Among other honors, Arn Chorn Pond received the 1999 Amnesty International Award, Human Rights Award, the 1993 Cole Foundation International Peace Prize, and in 1996, the Spirit of Anne Frank Outstanding Citizen Award. Please welcome my very dear friend, my brother, Arn Chorn Pond.
Thank you. Thank you.
it really is a pleasure, to sit here with you after we met, in Scotland. Certainly a very important day in my life when I acquired a new relative, a brother. Um, People in general in the United States know very little about what happened in Cambodia. And so we're very fortunate to have you here with us. And what I'd like to do is sort of go over in a chronologic way what happened, specifically what happened in your life. So I want to go back all the way to your childhood. Tell us a little bit about what life was like, what you remember about your parents, what happened to your father.
I remember them very little. I mean, starting from 1974, when I was just probably six years old, 5 or 6, I don't know my real age. Just right before the Khmer Rouge came in Battambang, we're now coming back a lively city now. People liked it when they go visit Cambodia. All I remembered was that I didn't really care about I heard the bomb drop in around the countryside, but I was with my little brother, little sister, who I love ice cream. Ice cream took all my attention. I mean, I play games, and I was taught how to respect Buddhist monk. That's things that I'm learning now that my family taught us. And there were foods everywhere. There were movie. There were many other things, so I didn't really care so many other things. And one other thing, I love going to the movies. We didn't have the money to go. We would hold, we chose a chubby lady to hold her hand, and she took us in without paying, So she pretend like we are they are her kids, So we go to movie. But that was it. I remember it very briefly. But then one time I saw the tank and the tank and the truck came with this black pajamas with their rifle, and some of them were young. I mean, some of them were young. I saw the Khmer Rouge grim face, and they said, we beat Americans. We are now American lost, and they chant the word Americans. But I don't know who America was, but who American were, but I heard the word a lot. That was it, and they chased us. The next 3 days, they said everyone had to leave the city because Americans gonna bomb the hell out of us. They got angry because they lost.
They said it was the Americans who were bombing, and that's why you had to
leave the city. But it was not. Again, there was not 3 days. There were probably others reasons. They said the kings are coming and coming back. They referred as King Sihanouk. So some of them were taken. The former soldier were taken to receive the king, which is like trucks and trucks. And we knew later on that they were all killed. So I didn't know. It's like someone pulled the rug under your feet. But so from that moment on, I was taken into a temple. I was separated from my little brother and little sisters. Ended up watching them starve to death. Cannot help them. So it's right away I saw killing day in and day out in the temple. They converted that temple into the killing place.
We together we wrote in a tuk-tuk to Wat Ek, which is really a very, very special experience. But you did not go by tuk-tuk. Tell us a little bit about that march and how long it took to get from Battambang to the temple.
It's not that far, but I was taken. I remembered taken out of my aunt's hand. You
were living with your aunt.
Yeah. She's like my mother, became my mother, and at this point, yeah, my father and many other people. But I was just a little kid, so I didn't remember many things. When I went back 25 years later, I found out how famous they were. They owned an opera company and all this, That's why they were targeted. Also, my family, they were famous, and so that was hard. Were taken from my aunt and went on a row among the other kids, little kids from 6 years old to about 15. And I remember they're all quiet. There was like so many of them, black pajamas. Also, I was right away was put into the one line and just walk with them. 700 probably kids in the temple. They in the middle of the killing, they kill 3 or 4 times a day. Sometimes they make a special axe and hit them. Most of them hit them in the back of the head, like a coconut. I can even hear it today. I mean, like coconut shell. You hit them and you push them into the grave. And I didn't share very much about what they do with the Khmer Rouge, playing games, with the dead. They prop a dead person up and put American helmet in them, and they put cigarettes. And they laughed, and they took spleen and liver out of the people. I was forced to watch and also to do many other things that I didn't want to do. But with the Khmer Rouge, you must do. And
what would happen if you refuse to look?
Of course, they'll hit you with no remorse, just right with the victims. I mean, you didn't even do anything wrong. They also looked at us. They got our children sometimes to come together, like 10 of. I was one of them. I don't know why I was so famous with them. They always bring me in with other kids, and they punish people and kill people. Blood was all over the ground, and they ask us to watch. And then they start looking at us in the face. If we show any emotion, what we are doing right now, well, I don't think there's chance for us to live. So they penetrate. They look at you in the head. So I was always worried about. They can tell you in the eyes that you feel sorry for the victims, even though they are not your own family members. I end up squeezing some of my friends when we're squeezing his hand, and one of them I know now survived until today in Canada. He just called me after many years. He said, "Remember, you hold my hand and you squeeze my hand hard," and
that may have kept him alive.
Kept me alive too.
Kept you alive.
Because and all that.
Were you sent out to the fields also?
Every day from about 5 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night. Every day, a lot of time they don't give us food at all. I remember that they right away they said we're gonna start at a music group. I had no idea what new kind of music is starting. I raise my hand very occasionally. I know that do anything that noticeable, you got killed by them. So this time I raised my hand very high, and they didn't trick us this time. They said, "Yeah, we're gonna start music groups." So 5 other kids forced to play music with this old man brought up to teach us right here, and I didn't even know his name. And the next week he was killed by teach us like just a basic. They don't want any old traditional music. They just have this guy to come taught us the basic. And then the guy told me, he said, you better learn fast. We would not survive. And 3 boys were slow. There were 5 boys were chosen. 3 boys were slow to learn. Yeah, it ended up in the mango grove, orange grove, and 2 of us survived, me and one other boy who's still alive today too, but he's gone crazy right now. So sometime we were playing music for the Khmer Rouge leader. They would put a microphone in our instruments. I know that they are just using our music to cover up all the screaming behind us.
So they would amplify the sound over the camp. Yeah, actually, in the killing fields now, they show the tree where the amplifying system was hanging actually, and I'm sure it's the same thing over there. Was how long did that take, the experience?
The Khmer Rouge year was 4 years. I lived there for 2.5 years, 3 years. But keep playing for them, and they wanted to kill me anyway because I have a light skin and my finger long like a girl. They said your hair, you must be from a rich family that pro-Americans. Again, I heard American all the time, but I've never met one. I don't know what they look like. but you know, because the reason I have white skin, and they kill anybody who has, you know, like you're wearing the glass. Yeah, they go and look just the scar, and yeah.
Anybody who was light-skinned, who was considered not good enough or not pure enough, or
Being pro the West, pro Americans, they don't care at all. They just they kill family, husband, wife, children, babies. So they, you know, they do it. But if they do it if they've done it with guns, it would be like a lot more people die painless, I think. But you know, they kill one by one with the axe slowly in most of the countryside. I didn't know that it happened in the whole country. I thought it was only happening.
you were just at Battambang?
No, I have no idea. I was a child, you know. I thought the world was flat.
You were 10 years old when this was
probably around that. Yes,
around that time. What other categories of people you mentioned? You know, the people who were light-skinned. There were other people who were especially singled out for being not the right kind of people, who were, you know, educated.
Teacher, doctors, engineers, of course, but I think also they are targeted artists. You know, I myself saw one. You know, she said that you can kill me if you don't let me sing. Let me sing a song, you can kill me, or something like that, because she's. I think she's a singer. She was an actress or something like that in the temple. They do very bad thing, you know, the Khmer Rouge.
And so, and killing basically happening every day, and then playing the music.
Yeah. So it was hard. Many years for me. It was like a hell beyond words for me. I mean, you talk about hell. I don't know what hell's like, but.
What kinds of things did you have enough food?
No, there were no food. There were no food. Sometimes weeks or months. They said you don't work hard enough to, but. I don't know what happened to, right. We work at 5 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock at night. But after a while, you know, I think I was like, make myself numb to everything. You know, I make myself not feeling. I see the blood flow from the people's head, or the how you say it, you know, the falling off, the falling down. I mean, I don't feel it anymore. I literally, I get myself, I made myself numb. I don't smell the blood. Literally, I don't smell the blood anymore. The dirt, the shit, everything mixed together.
What are some of the things that you had to do to get some extra food for yourself? Things that may have been legal or illegal. What kinds of things, extremes, that you have to go to get some food?
Anything you can live on. Any thing you crawl near you, and you just pick it up and eat it. Anything, and even that. I mean, if they see you doing it, so they just don't care. They just want you to let you die. But life doesn't mean anything to them.
Sure.
Doesn't mean anything to them. I'm not. We can talk about where the hate come from, but it's a long story about hate. You know, about. The more I learned about, you know, what's happening around the world, and I'm just saying, I want to just say something before everything else. That thank you for having me here, my first time here, and thank you for being my brother.
Sure.
I think I'm standing as I come in here as a, you know, show my solidarity and unity with Holocaust survivor, and Armenian is 100 years now. Rwanda, and we say no more to killing. And you know, right now Kenya, small scale, but it could get big. But at Virginia Tech, in you know, Columbine High School, all of this not necessary, and we can learn from that. And that's why I think it's important. I mean, not easy for me to do this, because you understood this very well, to share all over again about my little sister, about my they've done nothing wrong to anyone. But also my support, by coming here, I learned about other people suffering. The Palestinian, they suffer too.
Absolutely.
Too. So the young people are caught in this hate. So the hate is a long story. We could talk more about it. But also I'm here to also continue to play my flute. I mean, young people now in our country now. Pluen is here. Charlie is here. I'm so grateful for their life, for their support. That they tell their own story different way now, through music, through even hip hop, through Facebook or whatever. But just for me to know that they can express themselves with no axe hitting their heads. That's where I'm at the moment. And this place is really a place where you can do this without,
one of my fondest memories of the trip to Cambodia was when you played the Beatles, actually, music. Very, very special. And Arn has a wonderful voice, actually. And I deferred, and I did not put the video clip of him singing, a Beatles song.
No, I appreciate you went to Cambodia too. I'm glad. You very fast, and I just saw you as, please come to Cambodia. You said, I go, you come. Thanks to Joel too. Joel is here. You went with them. Means a lot to me. Means a lot to me, to us. And you are very active. We need that.
Turning back a little bit, tell me how you mentioned one of the masters, the first one who taught you. You had several masters.
They have two. I have two. They killed the other one and they brought the other one. His name Master Mac. Yeah.
What happened to him?
He later, when the Vietnamese invaded in 1979, I was caught with thousands of other kids. I was probably 11, 12. I remember I couldn't even carry the gun. The Khmer Rouge said this, and they just gave us a gun and trucked it out to the fighting against the Vietnamese. I didn't know the Vietnamese soldier was so good, and they had so many of them. And I understand now that the Vietnamese just had an experience with Americans, and we didn't even know how to use a gun. So the Khmer Rouge would use us as a decoy to go and fight the Vietnamese, and everybody died, and I just learned how to figure out how to use the guns. They say this is gun from America, M16, and the next one they said this gun from Russia, and this gun from China, AK-47. I just have to figure out how to use it. And imagine all the kids don't know how to use it. They were cleaning their guns, and the bullet, they blown up their head. They blown their head off. And I've been there for a few months, and then I think Master Mike, when I returned many years back in 1996, I went back and saw him in Battambang Bong. I was stumbled into him trying to find my family, and then I get a little money in my pocket, working here. And then he looked at me, and right away he recognizes me, and he was smiling. But tears coming out of his eyes, and we were hugging each other. And I asked him, I gave him a little money and asked ex-Khmer Rouge to stop cutting their hair. I said, can you please go and find Kim? And then we play music again together right in the spot. And we forgot. We were so into our music again, play together. We didn't know that the Khmer Rouge were around. They were looking at us. More and more Khmer Rouge come around us. Ex-Khmer Rouge anyway, so there was still war going on in the countryside. And then I said, oh, we are in trouble. We were playing traditional music, we were forgotten. So we play a little bit Khmer Rouge music, and they start, not clapping, but they were like. So that was like 23 years later. I went back, and he said, Arn, please, I don't want to die drunk or cutting hair. That's not what I can do. You know me, I want to play music. I want to teach the children. I want to perform. So Cambodian Living Arts began, and I found few more masters who I like a household name, like Master Jake Mike. She was the first, opera singer. She was the last opera singer ever that survived Pol Pot. I'm not sure how she survived. She told me later on, she called me son. I was so happy with that. She reminded me of Lucille Ball. You know, I grew up in New Hampshire. I didn't speak English. You know, I only look what one thing I can do. My dad asked me to watch TV. I supposed to watch cartoon, but I got her, Lucille Ball, and I like her very much because she's so active. You know, she speaks English very fast, and Chiang Mai remind me of Lucille Ball right away. When I picked her up from, again, she was drunk, and I picked her up and I asked her if you were Chiang Mai. She spoke up, and she said yes. Why? How you know my name? I said, I listened to you before Pol Pot. And she was disoriented, you know, still. And I asked her to sing a song for me, and he said, "You have dollar for me?" She mentioned the word dollar, and I have to buy her sandwich and beer. She said, "What? Before I sing, I have to drink beer." A sandwich and the beer wasn't good for her. I didn't know, but she wanted to drink beer. She missed it. So I asked her to drink beer and sing a song. She was unconscious. So those are musicians that I gathered, and few of them, and Cambodian Living Arts started. I just paired them with the young student on the street first, whoever we find. And then now 15 years later now, and we have many places. We have
a wonderful program.
Classes all over 10 cities now, and we have the Khmer Magic Music Bus bringing music, carpeting Cambodia. That's how I got back to the Khmer Rouge. And I use the word carpeting because I always in my head what I learned here as Cambodian Americans, that American was like 3 million ton of bomb were dropped in Cambodia in the 70s. I was still there, a little boy, heard the bomb early a year in my life. So one bus just yet carpeting Cambodia with music, and why not? Why not? I'm just don't know why not. And the bomb, I remember, you know, the bomb cost about one bomb. I can buy 2 or 3 buses. I just don't understand it, and it hurts me now. It's 40th anniversary that I'm here of the killing field, and a little upset for me. And they say this in America, in our country here. They said that I'm very proud. Don't get me wrong. I have a father who's a white man. You know, I'm English American white man who die and risk his life for me. I have my brother and sister white Americans. You know, I'm American myself, but feel sad that sometimes I don't. They said it's hurtful now to be reminded of American war, of Vietnam, and then Cambodia. Cambodia again was nothing. It's just a sideshow. And they said, it hurt us to be reminded. And there's not so much news about Cambodia. I'm not comparing with other genocide, Armenians, and they still even not recognize that because we are on the wrong side or something. The politicians are sometimes troubled. You know, they're troubled. They have something in the head. And how about the people who are victims of that? That I have to come here and remind now American young people in high school, in junior high school, and all the trouble I went through and the bombs. It's all 2 sides to it. It's not only one side. It's not only black and white, you know. And I don't hear much in the news anything about we bombed Cambodia. We were there and we were sorry. And now what happened now? Everybody doing anything good thing in Cambodia. Let's go behind them. They're like the Khmer Magic Music Bus. Let's rush to carpet Cambodia with music, and would give many of my children jobs. You know.
Really, but it's really carpeting the world with music. You know, it's really. Really,
thank you.
It's bringing that good feeling that you bring to Cambodia now, and I wish that there were a way of spreading that.
You were on the bus. You were on the bus. Thank you.
One of the most joyful experiences we've ever had. To have these young musicians playing right on the bus, and like I showed in the photograph, every time we stop, they get off the bus, and they play this wonderful music.
Yeah.
Tell us. I just want to go back a little bit so that people know a little about you, a little bit more. How did you manage to escape? What happened? Well, you were shooting. You said, they enlisted you as a child soldier, basically, like happened in many other, wars, and then you escaped from?
Like you say, I crawl. I crawl. I didn't use the word often. I was on my last leg. I didn't know where the tie. I don't know how many months I was in the jungle there. I would have been eaten by the animals. I mean, there were tigers and all that. I wouldn't be half of their meals. They didn't even want to eat me. I mean, I was probably 30 pounds when I was there, probably half naked. And I crawl. I thought I was unconscious on the bush, blister coming out, and I didn't hurt anymore. But 5 women, a refugee girl, came and picked me up and put me in the camp, and where I met the first time they call a white man call Americans. So he literally stepped on me. He was like 300 pounds. And he was like trying to rescue kids around. It was flood that night and it was dark. And he stepped on me literally, and I was like screaming. And I saw this white cloud coming. You know, I sort of put my arm around his neck, and he picked me up, and we looked at each other. And then the next morning he came back, and he was trying to look for me. I know, and I make myself fall off the bed, and I want him to get to know me. You know, to know me. So he was later adopted me and brought me to America in 1980. The next day, he took me to McDonald's, to the mall. I threw it all up with you know, hamburgers I cannot eat. I screamed at him, I want rice, you know. But then the next day, he took me to high school. That was hard. Kids start making fun of you already. There were only white kids in that high school. There were about 700 of them coming out like bees up there, you know, and they started making fun of me already. I heard the word monkey. They called me monkey, and they said, "Go back where you belong," and all these things. I was mad, and I was always wanted. I got suicidal later on because I feel hurt inside of me when they call me like that. They call me Chink, and I told them I'm not Chinese. I didn't speak English much at the time. When I had to fight with them, I ended up in a detention all the time because I can't explain myself. So I didn't feel like anyone was on my side. So
Bullying
really
is really,
hurt.
of course, another.
Oh yeah, they found a way to put me in soccer team, and that where how I give it all in my life. You know, soccer, I can run very fast. I scored I got 2 or 3 goals every game. We got state championship 3 years on a row. And overnight, the kids put me up, and you know, they start hanging around, and they stop calling me name. You know, I was confused about. I was confused, like, oh, one night I'm nobody. The next day, like, I'm number 1. Girls start coming around you and all these things. Instead of making me happy, I was really confused. And it hurtful, but they didn't have no idea where I came from, what had happened to Cambodia. So my dad really wants me to share my story. He said, Arn, there's going to be more painful for your life. I'm sorry to say this, but you're going to die if you don't share your story. I know I think I'm gonna just maybe in jail by now, or died in the mountain of the New Hampshire. I keep running away, and that time I ran away from home wasn't cold like this. You know, if it's snow, I would have been freezing to death in the jungle of New Hampshire. So I know that's important for me to share the story, and I thought American kids didn't really care about what I went through. They was too busy eating ice cream just like I did in the past, you know, busy kissing, going to the mall. There's so many things for them. Why do they care about Cambodia? So I didn't want to do it in the beginning, but I found out when I shared later on, I start playing my flute again. I'm still doing now, even now. I mean, I was just crying with the junior high school in around Boston. I play my flute, they cry. He's a little junior high school, white kid. And what touched them the most, they said, I don't know, there's something powerful in the instruments, in the musical instruments. And I found out that's much more powerful than the gun. you know. So why didn't we promote it? So these young people, they remind me, they said, I heard this flute, it touched my heart. They say they're very smart, these kids. And it sounds like, you know, the Titanic story. They watch Titanic in a Hollywood movie. Yeah, so they can connect themselves to, they find something to connect themselves to. So I'm really glad that something that can connect us all, you know, the music and all these things. So I think American kids are starving for something. They don't just want to hang around in the mall, you know, but they don't know how. They don't know how to find many other ways, you know, that meaningful to their life. So all of us here should find way to really, a creative way to really engage them, these young people. We cannot afford to lose this angel that American, they are like angel, you know, these little kids, and to just be the hostage of the mall. We cannot just do that. They need to fly away, travel like all of us, you know, speaking friendship, playing music, you know, be on a Khmer Magic music bus, find out some interesting thing that change us all, meaningful to us. Don't get them get stuck in the mall and mauling themselves to death, you know. And they think it's less bored to go to buy something, me. The mall is me. And then they said they might be less bored by buying something, by consuming something. But no, they keep going back again. The iPod, the iPhone, they change every 3 months. And it costs a lot of money. And this is the kind of thing we are building for them. So harder for me to come and for us to get them to Cambodia to do this, to get excited about, but they are going, and we are on the way. We are on a bandwagon and very excited about this time, about music and you know, friendship and all this through music. Exciting very much. In our and they said it's a little far, Cambodia, but you know, the bomb didn't find Cambodia far. You know, yeah. And why not music's far now? So I don't give up. We keep going, And
I'm going to ask, this is obviously, we could be talking here for hours. I want to give the people in the audience a chance to ask some questions before you hear you play your flute. So first I'm going to turn it, any questions? And I'm going to ask Sonia, if at all, or someone to repeat the question to make sure, since my hearing isn't always the greatest, to make sure we can hear the question. So questions. Please speak into the microphone when.
I was just curious, you said that after the genocide that your adoptive father actually adopted a number of other survivors. Did you find that that helped you to adjust, to have those people to confide in and to experience the adjustments in America with as well?
With who? With the adopted?
In other words, since you were not the only child adopted by Mr. Pond, you were 15 altogether, right?
Yeah, 15 to 16.
Yeah, did that help you at all, or
it helps?
That you had, you know, more family or more kids? Did you bond to them?
No, in fact, we didn't bond in the beginning for a long time. I mean, even with the Cambodians ourselves. The American ones, they also got jealous a little bit because of my dad. You know, I don't know what their problems, but of course, you know, to have other kids that he's adopted. I mean, they might think about money or inherit, you know, some money or a thing like that. I never want anything from my dad or from my mom. They in my heart, I just, you know, they give me a second life. I was grateful already, but that's maybe American kid was thinking. But among the Cambodians, I have these 2 boys, the first 2 boys that I've gotten. He's portrayed also in the book here, Never Fall Down, that just finished 2 years ago, about my life a little bit. There's a character, one of the character here, antagonist against me, because he had a father who was a doctor and killed by Pol Pot. He watched that. And he knew that I was forced by Khmer Rouge to be in the army to fight for the Khmer Rouge, but I was forced. I didn't join the Khmer Rouge, so he called me. He didn't have anybody to, you know, to point fingers on. He point finger at me. He said, "You are the Khmer Rouge. You are real Khmer Rouge. You lied to Peter that you are not Khmer Rouge." And So I jumped on that time. I jumped and I almost killed him, but I didn't know better than I am now. But you know, my American mom, like everybody was trying to hold me. I was black and I was black out, and I would have been jailed by now. But no, I lucky I didn't kill him. But now he's back to Cambodia now. So we all a mess, you know. But later on, I think it took many years. It took 10, 15 years, half of our lives to really solve this. My dad is good. My mom too. They're pretty good. They understand all these things. They die now, by the way. My dad and my mom died now. Yeah.
Did any of your Cambodian family survive?
I have two. A sister by accident, an older sister who got into Providence, and by a Khmer New Year, I went to one of the Khmer New Year, and someone said she might be your sister. we went and we talked after 23 years. You know, I don't know her that well, but
She was older.
Older. She was in Providence now, and I found another one who's in Cambodia now, and maybe a half brother or something. My dad was an actor, and I went to the Phnom Penh, Battambang Bong, the province where we were, and asked older people.
Mhm.
Oh, they talked about my dad like he's a star, like he was a star. He's only probably that time was 30-something years old, you know, and he died young too, before Pol Pot. So they talked to me about my dad, about my grandparents, like, wow, they know better than I do
So
about
that's
my own family.
so that's how your own story
Sort
got
of
reconstructed.
now, yeah.
You started, but what you remember is living with your aunt, really much later on.
That's why I remember. That's why I've learned the flute faster. You know, my wondering why I learned faster than any other kids. I didn't know that. Now I know that because, I mean, it run into your blood, or I don't know. You know, that's why I learned so fast. The Kim, and it saved my life in the end.
Other question.
When you say that, sorry for my ignorance, but when you say that you were working in the fields for the regime, what were you doing? What was it that was that because, I mean, who were they growing it for? What were they growing? What was it that was going on?
Mainly
there
rice.
specifically?
Mainly rice. We would wake up. They woke up us at 5 o'clock in the morning, just like to go and plant rice. And the rice field is like, you know, very muddy. And that's this book also the reason they chose to Never Fall Down, because I saw kids fall and stuck in the rice paddy, and they just let them die in the rice paddy. Animals, worse than the animal. They just want to kill us all, but to make use of our children, or make use of our lives, so we grow things for them, and any minutes they kill us. So grow rice, and we don't know where the rice go. Now we know that maybe the Khmer Rouge to China, you know, because they got support from the Chinese government, the Khmer Rouge. So that's maybe like that. Yeah.
Question over there.
What has been the
Yeah,
reaction?
wait for the microphone.
What has been the reaction to your work today in Cambodia, with the Cambodia Living Arts Project?
What has been the reaction in Cambodia to your work with Cambodian Living Arts today?
Very, very good. You know, the young people, especially, we got job for them. I mean, we rescue some of the girls from the street. No need for prostitution, no need for beggars. You know, Cambodia is very small. Cambodian arts and culture is like more than money. It's our soul. We do it anyhow, anyway. But why didn't we have economic boost for Cambodia? This tourists are going to visit Angkor and visit the and Cambodia, the killing field, and so we are working on that to hire young people to learn the musical instrument. They love it because now they especially got attention from the other young people. You know, this, like, for example, I give you Srei Po, who learned this chanting, a smote, we call it smote, to to have your soul go to heaven peacefully before anybody dies. You know, we have music, we have dance, from the birth of a child to puberty to marriage, every path of your own life, there are music and dance. I didn't even know that. You see, the war have destroyed, the bombs have destroyed everything. So and making money playing this 1,000-year instruments. Wow, that's wonderful. And this girl, wow, just learn how to smoke a very unpopular music, and come to and people invite them to perform in America. Wow, you know, so she went back, and many young girls want to smoke. Many young women want to smoke. We have to find way to promote these young people now. Sorry, the older master are now dying and have died. We cannot have them forever, but at least we give them dignity that they want. For me, and we have still problems with other culture like Korean, K-pop, and American hip hop into Cambodia now. We have some problem, but it's okay. I mean, when the kids find out, they're smart. When they find out what give them meanings in their life, they will sing with that. They will play music with that. But you know, the K-pop, I have nothing against them, but if they just don't rap about, you know, only money, and buying and selling, you know, some of the actresses even selling themselves. So those are I'm against. I don't like those kind of rappers and rap about gold teeth and millions of dollars, you know, sex and violence. I don't like that. So people using music into their own gain, you know. There are music and songs about that save our soul, and that's what I like. And we are on it. We are very.
Do you want to?
Happy.
Could I beg something that I did not hear you do when we were in Cambodia? Do you want to give us a sample of the smut? Can you do that? Or and then play your flute for us.
Nobody knows this before. I mean, Charlie just got to know this, that I learned this. I'm just learning it. They think I'm Cambodian American smote. Even the flute, they say I'm a Cambodian American, but they laugh. You know, that's who I am. I'm not sorry, but that's who I am. I'm a Cambodian American. I'll give you a brief. Yes. It's very, you know, it's a Buddha, like a Buddha chanting. It's about Buddha's story, and it's having to give all his grievance or how to say it, desire away, not to have any desire in your life, but to do meaningful in your life, meaningful things before you die. That's his life, the Buddha's life. Anicca cung ma tiếng bi buông đã tiếng ngày trong cái đau nhỏ luôn chỉ lý dùng ngô sụp ôn tiếng luôn chỉ liêng ô bung bồ.
Thank you.
That's one.
Usually, we ask. I think you've given us a final word, but I'd like to really have the audience the pleasure of hearing you play the flute, not the way you played it, you know, for the Khmer Rouge, for the soldiers,
Yeah.
but how you play it now.
Yes, we play love song now. It's good for all of us. It's quite a traditional song, but it's a sound of the flute, they call it. I used to play also lullaby. We have lullabies in any language. You told me about your lullaby also. Yeah, Jewish. Yeah. But I play different one. This one, the sound of the flute. It's also very good for us, you know.
you so much. Unfortunately, this has to end our program, but I do want to tell you that the book Never Fall Down is available in the gift shop.
Yeah, I'll give you a gift shop too.
It's in the gift shop here at the museum, and we made sure of that, absolutely. And I really, really recommend this book. It is excellent. In addition, if you have a chance to see the movie The Flute Player, which is all about Arn, which was made about 10 years ago by PBS. You can get that on Netflix, and I recommend that as well. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so wonderful.